I mentioned Bernie in An Immigrant's Letter to the West because it boggles my mind how anyone in this country takes him seriously. This is a guy who honeymooned in the Soviet Union, where he would have had exactly the same experience as every other Westerner coming to the Soviet Union. They would have been taken to some fake wedding where fake KGB agents were having a fake wedding, and then they would be taken on some kind of trip. Every movement would be controlled, and these are the people who came back from the Soviet Union. I can't remember if it was. I don't want to slander dead people, but I can't remember who it was. Somebody, one of these darlings of the left, came back from the Soviet Union in 1938 as people, millions of my ancestors, my countrymen and women were starving, and said, I've never eaten as well as I did in the Soviet Union.
So let's throw actually to the Oxford Union speech that you mentioned, because this thing, how many views did this thing get? Like,
it's hard to say. Probably somewhere between 100 and 200 million views.
Yeah, like
across different platforms. Yeah.
Ooh, lordy, lordy. All right, let's go.
And the only thing that wokeness has to offer in exchange is to brainwash bright young minds like you to believe that you are victims, to believe that you have no agency, to believe that what you must do to improve the world is to complain, is to protest, is to throw soup on paintings. And we on this side of the house are not on this side of the house because we do not wish to improve the world. We sit on this side of the house because we know that the way to improve the world is to work, is to create, it is to build. And the problem with woke culture is that it's trained too many young minds like yours to forget about that. Thank you very much.
The brainwashing element is pretty interesting of this. That's hard to get people out of. They feel like they have this kind of holistic worldview, and that somehow everyone before them was an idiot or a moron. That's the one I can't get over.
Yeah, to be honest, I think young people always think that about other generations. That thing about when I was 20, my dad was an idiot, and by the time I got 40, he really wisened up.
Yeah.
Like, I think we all experience that at some level. So my issue is that, look, culture is the brainwashing of young people. That's what culture is. It's the passing down of certain values and beliefs about what it is to be human and how we ought to conduct ourselves, right? That's why you have an education system. That's why you have cultural content. That's why we teach children certain values. We are, quote unquote, brainwashing them. My issue is that I've never understood this. As a first generation immigrant, I sort of, people want to tell me that I'm a victim, and I've never understood. And it doesn't really matter if it's true or not. What matters is it useful?
Mm-hmm.
And that's my issue with all of this stuff. It's like, why are you teaching children things that will make them fail? Why are you teaching children things that will make them hurt, things that will make them anxious, things that will make them depressed? Why are you not teaching them, look, you believe in climate change, go for it, right? Go and fix a problem to do with that issue. Go and learn and study for years and work hard. And you know what, Melissa Chen, I don't know, you know,
I know her well. She's a good friend.
A wonderful person. I love Melissa. I think it was her that tweeted out something a long time ago. She said, you can't remain woke if you build something, whether that's muscle, a business, or anything. And that's why I would challenge those young people, very bright young people at Oxford. They're the future. Mm-hmm. Whether you like it or not, they are going to be the people running our countries, right? I challenge them to recognize that if you care about whatever issue it is, you got to fix it. You can't just sit and mope.
Were you shocked how many students at Oxford are buying that stuff? Because when I spoke there, it was a lovely talk, and I did my thing, and then there was some Q&A, and I was getting some pushback on stuff, but I didn't feel it had fully sort of proliferated throughout. But I get the sense that it's deeper now. That was probably 5 years ago when I was on tour.
Yeah, it's hard to say, because you see 400 people or 500 people who came to see the debate. So what the mix of it is, it's hard to say. I did, the thing that really I found very reassuring is I had a few people. The people won't know this, but the debate started like 3 hours later than it should have done. So we ended up sitting in the pub waiting. Mm-hmm. And there was this girl who came up to me, and she could not believe. She said, "So you think there are woke people in the UK?" And I went, "Yeah." And she went, "So you think there are woke people in the media?" Oh, yeah. And she was like, so give me an example. And I give her an example. And we went round and round for an hour.
Yeah.
Anyway, after the debate,
You're going, lady, I got a big talk to you.
After the debate, she comes over to me and asks for a selfie. So, you know, we gotta be willing to try to change people's minds. And I have hope for young people because I was young and stupid, and probably am still to some extent both those things. And you know, people are persuadable. And you persuaded me. Your guest persuaded me, and I believe that we can persuade others.
What about the people that are pushing it sort of, I don't want to say blindly, but did you see a clip about a month and a half ago on Real Time with Bill Maher where he asked Bernie Sanders if he knew the difference between equity and equality? Did you happen to see the clip?
I didn't see that one, no.
So it's a really incredibly enlightening moment. Do you know the difference between equity and equality? I mean, it's basically saying to him, do you know the difference between socialism and capitalism, in essence? And Bernie fumbles, and then basically says, I don't know. And Bill explains it to him, and it's like, well, wait a minute. You've been the prime mover of these ideas from a economic perspective, at least. I don't think he realized how it was going to become racialized and sexualized and everything else. But it was clear to me that he just didn't even know what he was talking about.
That doesn't surprise me. I mentioned Bernie in An Immigrant's Leveler to the West because it boggles my mind how anyone in this country takes him seriously. This is a guy who honeymooned in the Soviet Union, where he would have had exactly the same experience as every other Westerner coming to the Soviet Union. They would have been taken to some fake wedding where fake KGB agents were having a fake wedding, and then they would be taken on some kind of trip. Every movement would be controlled. And these are the people who came back from the Soviet Union. I can't remember if it was, I don't want to slander dead people, but I can't remember who it was. One of these darlings of the left came back from the Soviet Union in 1938 as millions of my ancestors, my countrymen and women were starving, and said, I've never eaten as well as I did in the Soviet Union. These gullible clowns in the West who have never experienced socialism, have never experienced communism, who sell simple but false ideas to people, they don't deserve to be taken seriously. They don't. They don't offer any solutions. The solutions that they offer will be counterproductive and hurt people in this country and around the world. It boggles my mind that people don't understand that, but they don't.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of mindless drivel, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.